system version, you'll just import your sys and then you will just print your system version. Meanwhile, you can also print your system version info. So this is your system version and the system version info too. This is how just a couple of lines you can just write on. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, can you please send the code in PDF format?
PDF format?
Yeah.
Alright. No problem. So we'll send today from the PDF, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Alright. So yesterday we did for the loops and now I hope everyone is compatible with the loop. And the conditionals. So we deal with the conditionals, right? So everyone is just good with the condition statements, I think, right? So you have done just the basics of all the conditions and also I've given you the assignments to work on. So I believe that you have just done the questions over there. Anyone who didn't did any of the questions, write a Python program that accepts an integer and printed in. Alright, that was a mistake type of question. See, that question is saying that write the Python program which can just take an n or just which can take an input from the user and then you have to do the following operation, that is let the input be n and then you have to do n into n plus n to n to n plus n, right? So that could be kind of you can take it something like n right, that can a user just write on that, enter a number sorry, and then you just perform a calculation. Now your calculation part is nothing but your n, I think n square plus n cube plus n, right? That is nothing but the n square plus n cube plus n. So and let's take it a 5 value, we will be getting sorry have to the calculation. So you're getting your values. It's like just a simple one, right? So this was the question. Any other question? So every question was easy or like good to solve? Anyone had any problem in solving the questions? Again, I'm asking if one. Anyone has, you can say me.
Hello.
Yes, Yatri.
Sir, after writing assignment, where we need to send to mail or
you can send it to my mail or directly to my WhatsApp. Anywhere you can send it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. So yesterday we saw the if statement and the else statement. Meanwhile, we also look on the if else left to just do some of sort of the questions, right? Similarly, there are a lot of questions to work on if and else, so we'll not go into much. Now we'll start for kind of thing named as loop. All right. So you should practice on the things we are just completing off one by one, so that it could be better for you to maintain a cope up with all those things, right? So when we come to the loops, guys, loops are nothing but just a kind of an iterations you can say, or like a repetition we just do every day in our life or for our everyday task. We just do keep on repeating our daily life works, right? So similarly, just like for the minutes or hand of a clock, like goes on repeating, goes on rotating for the 360 degrees over there, right? So it goes on rotating, and until a specific condition, it goes on rotating, right? So it rotates until and unless its battery is remaining out there, right? So it depends on something there. Similarly, a loop is something you can say in the Python which will keep on iterating over a sequence or number of times on some objects like kind of a strings, a list, a tuples. It will be based on all these things, but it will only iterate until a given specified condition has been met. Okay, so that can be done in the just a given specified conditions over there. Right. So I think before the loop, so I will just give an introduction to the loop, and then we'll go to the various type of the data types. We have dealt the numeric one, and now we'll go to study the list, the strings, the tuples, the sets, the dictionaries, and all these, right? So first we'll just get an introduction to all these. So there are just two kind of loop, or you can just define as loop as. So you can specify it as a kind of iterations which will execute over a given interval of time or until a kind of situation is met. And what are these situations? You can just write a situation as your condition, right? So there are just two kind of loops here. One is termed as your while loop. So you have while loop and the for loops, right? So we'll discuss these things. Now see, these while loops are just as a kind of a loops. Now you can make a block of code execute over and over again just with the use of a while statement, right? So the code in the while clause. Now what are the clause? You know, right, guys? When you write any statement, the after the just a line you write of the keyword, everything you just see there is a kind of a statement or clause, you can say, right? So until the given clause or condition is meant to be true, it will keep on iterating the things, right? So a while can be defined as, so you can define while key, just you can write the while loops. Just right. One second, someone is asking for the time from which batch he is Python. There are link in your group, right? Someone is asking for joining. All right. So yes, the while loop is kind of a loop which will execute your things or just the this code you want to repeat until your conditions are true. I can say while loop in Python is just to iterate over a block of codes as long as the test expression will be true, right? So my syntax I'll be writing on non-while. So my while loop consists of three things again, as we have for the if and the else and all those. Right? Similarly, we have these things in the while loop also. So a while will be consisting the while keyword. Then we'll have the condition. Similar things, right? And then the indented block of codes, or we say it as while clause. So guys, am I audible to you guys? I'm having just a pain in my vocals today. So am I audible to you guys, right? All right, fine. Thank you. So these are the things we are having in the while statement, right? So there you have your syntax as kind of so there you just write down your while text expressions, or you can say your conditions you write down. Once you write this, then you write the body of the while. So right. So similarly, you can just go on with the while statements. These are the syntax, and this is how written in. So when anything come inside a while loop, how to just get to understand the while loops. So first there is your text expression. Okay, just a while loop will come there and will check whether the text expression or the condition you are writing is correct or not. So if the condition is correct, is the condition if the condition is correct, it will go on the body of the while and will then just run on for the number of times or the conditions it is true, right? And if it is false, it directly go to the end of that, right? So we'll see an example how to just do that. So let's say just one example, then we'll see for loop and we'll continue with the string methods and all these. We'll study loop later. Okay, so let's say we have n equals 10, right? So I want to just print down the program to just print the natural numbers sum, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, right? We want the natural, we know how to print it out with the formula of n into n plus 1 divided by 2 there, right? So we'll do it by the loops now. So we know that n is equals to the 10, and if we count the sum for them, so our sum would be 1 plus 2 plus 3, so 5, 6. So we'll have all these things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inside our sum. And that will be equals to, yes, you guys know, right? It's 55. Yeah, done. It's in the basic of the classes. Right? So we have n is equals to 10. Now see, when you apply a while loop, you need two of the things. One is your any kind of loop when you assign. First is your counter, and then you define to give the variable if you want to find the sum and so on, any other things, right? So you have to initialize every time the counter. Now counter is something which will keep on just counting the number of times one, if you can say like if connected, like if one time a block of code is executed, one time the loop has been executed, it will set the counter as 1. For 2 it will be 2, for 3. So counter will judge for that how many number of times have been done, and it will just check, the counter itself will check that if the condition has been specified, so you should not go inside the loop and come out from that. Okay, that is, so you're defining your counter. Let's say my counter is x and I'm saying it as 1. Okay, so my counter is x and 1, and meanwhile I'm having sum equals to 0 now. My sum is 0 now. Why are the students asking in the WhatsApp there? Why don't they come in the class? Okay, so my sum is 0 now, right? So what I need to do is I need to count down all these numbers of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus and so on till the 10, right? So my work is to just count on all the things and put this in the sum of that, right? So how I'll write is, I'll write my while I is, and I want to find till the number 10. So I'll write while my x is less than 11. So it will take till the 10, right? So if I write while x is less than 11, how many numbers I am trying to write? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. You can also write it like while x is less than equals to 10. So it will take, right? Remember what these things do. It will also check for the another condition whether that is true or not. So another condition will satisfy that it is equals to 10. So it depends on you, whatever you write. So you can write less than 11, you can write less than equals to 10, but not less than equals to 11, right? So that depends. X is less than equals to 10, yeah, correct. So you have the just a kind of things like that, okay, and then you put a colon and then see, once you have set your condition that your x or your counter should be less than or equals to 10, or it will check that as soon as it becomes 10. So I prefer to go with the less than 11 also. So as soon as it becomes 10, I'll be just coming out of the loop. That is, our counter is meant to be, okay. Now just coming inside one particular condition, what my task is to do, I will assign my sum as sum plus x. Now what is this? So my sum is 0 now, right? So if x is equals to 1, 1 is less than equals to 10. So is this a true statement? Yes, 1 is less than 10. So there I'll add 1 plus 0, that is 1, and that 1 will be inside the sum. Similarly, it will again go, I'll initialize something there. I'll write it as that x is equals to, or x plus is equals to, you can write it kind of x plus is equals to, or let it be x equals to x plus 1, right? So this is a process where I'm just, you can say, I'm updating my counter, or you can write it as I'm incrementing my counter. Alright, so there what happens, x value will be x plus 1 equals to 2. Now x value will be 2. Now it will check the condition 2 is less than 10 and then run this statement, and then it will come here, then 2 plus 1 will be becoming 3, or and this will just go on, and so reading like that, right? So what happens, see, first x equals 1 will come, 1 is less than equals to 10 will be checked. So if it is true, and exactly it's true, so if it is true there, so what will happen, it will be added up with the sum, that is 0 now, right? And will be just stored inside the sum itself. So we'll have the sum equals to 1 when the x is equals to 1. Similarly, when x is, and then what happens, x is equals to x plus 1, that is now x is 1, so 1 plus 1 will become 2 and your x will be 2 now. So similarly, there it comes like x is less than equals to 10, that is 2 is less than equals to 10, and your sum will be sum, that is now sum is now 1, right? So 1 plus the 2 you will getting on, right? So similarly it will go on for 3, for 4, for 5 and all these things. So what you did, it will go until and unless the x becomes 10, all right, and then you will just print on. So your printing should not do inside the loops, inside the indentation of the loop, inside the clause of the loop. Okay, you will have to do these things outside the loop like this. Okay, if you do it inside the loop, after every initialization, x value will be changed. Okay, you can do still that if I write it as it depends. If you want, you can just write on. So for making you see how it works on. See, now what I'll do is I'll just keep on printing the sum, whatever is the sum now, right? The sum at the point, what is the sum, then how the x initialize, and then after that, the execution, I'll be print the sum value, right? So when I execute this, see what happens. So it says, first of all, my sum was 1, and first of all my x was 1, right? So my sum became 1. Now my x became 2, so my sum became x plus, you can say, right, for x plus 1, that is your 2 plus 1 becomes 3. Then my sum is my x is 3, my sum is 6, and so on. You can see 4, 10, 5, 15, 6, 21, 7, 28, 8, 36, 9, 45, and at 10 it becomes 55. So it's equals to 11. Let's do one thing. That's taken for the x equals to 11, right? Okay, no problem. So I thought it's taken for the 11 too. So see, now x became 11, and as soon as x became 11, so this condition is become false, so it came out of the loop and printed that the total sum till 10 is 55. All right, so this is how it works, right? So you can specify your condition as 11 less than 11 also, but focus that you haven't written it's kind of an equals to. So this is a kind of thing you can just run on. So did you understand what these counters do? These counters is initialize the or update. These counters will just keep on counting how many iterations have been completed on, right? That is sum equals to 1. So uh, x is equals to 2 and so on. Yeah, seeing that x equals to 2. So this stands for 1, 2 iterations has been completed, 3 iterations completed, 4 iterations, 5 iterations and so on. Okay, so as soon as it's reaching over there for the 10 iterations, and it will see now 11 iteration is not in the criteria of that particular program, so just it will go out. Understood? So that is, yes.
How to get the line numbers in the code? Keyboard shortcut.
Okay, line numbers. You can get it by just press escape and then press L. You will get the line numbers.
Okay.
Escape and then L.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So similarly, you can use while loop with the else and all these. So we'll discuss while loop later on. All right. Similarly, we have another loop as kind of a for loop. We say it. Okay. So in the for loop, the only difference is there you iterate over a sequence or there you iterate, and you know how much time or how much iterations you want to iterate on, right? So the for loop in Python is just kind of used to iterate over a sequence or other iterable objects like kind of LS sets and all these things, right? So this iterating over the sequence is transversal, and when I say transversal, right, you mean to understand that how many time you are just printing on, right? You know the actual number of times, and there we deal with the things called as range and all those, right? So there we deal with all these things. So if I write it as, see, before going to for loop, will I discuss with the range with you guys? So I think in the rand range we have discussed it. Still we'll focus on the fact. See, now range is anything when you define your starting number, stopping number, or the intervals. So we generate these sequence of numbers with the use of range function, right? So what we do is we have, let's say we want just a list of numbers between some particular starting to some particular stopping, or you can say some range of numbers from some starting to ending point. Okay, so there you need to define the range function, right? So it will take the number from the starting and will go to the stopping function, right? Meanwhile, it has also a kind of step size or step, you can say, that will just keep on printing the numbers on the intervals of whatever the value has been given inside the step. Okay, so we'll write down, don't worry. So see, the range, let's come on range particular syntax is how it is. I'm writing it. Syntax is you define range, and then you write your start, you write your stop, if you want the step, or as I said, it's nothing but the interval. That depends on you. If you want to write, you can write. Okay, so see, so this last step is optional. Okay, it depends, by default it's kind of a 1. So let's take, you want a range of, without just giving the starting number, I'm just giving these, just excluding the step and just excluding the start. What I'll do is, I'll just write on okay, I'll just pass on the value, let's say 20. Okay, sorry. So you need to print down the numbers from 0 to 19, right? And the range, as I said you, that you will be printing the numbers from the starting number till the number whatever you have written minus 1, right? If you write 30, you will be getting 29 for 2019, 15, 14, and so on, right? So if you run this, you will see that it is a range of 0 to 20. So what you understood, that by default your starting point is 0, and if you don't assign anything, by default your starting is 0 and ending depends on you stopping, and the intervals is also by default 0. Alright, so when we print it, so when we print a list of the numbers which are in the range of 20, so you will be seeing it as a kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the 0. You will be seeing it till the 19, right? So these are the range. So you see it started from 0 and went off till the 19, right? So similarly, if you write it as so now you give your starting and stopping point. Let's say you want numbers from 5 till 15, 16. So you'll be getting numbers from 5 to 15. Exactly, right? So we'll be getting now 5 to 15 values. You can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 there, right? So that depends. Now if I want to give the intervals to, If I want to see the intervals, let's say I'm printing numbers from 0 to 100, 50, and I want the even numbers. So even numbers will be coming in the intervals of 2, right? So I'll be writing it as intervals of 2. So it will print the numbers from 0 to 50 in the intervals of 2. So you can see 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 10, 12, 14, 16, and all these things, right? So if you have used the intervals of 3, so it would come like intervals of 3, that is 0, 3, 6, 9, and so on, right? So these are the things you should focus, right? So the stepping is something. And now it is clear, I think. Now the range are the things you should have clear till now. Any problems in the range one, guys? To understand, I can't see the screen. You just do one thing. You rejoin the class. You'll be able to see that. Anyone having any problem in the range? No. That's good. Now it's visible to you, all right. Now see, range is clear, right? Now these for loops are used with the range. That's why I'll just deal with the range one. Now let's say whether just you have a list of numbers as kind of these things, right? So just say that you have a numbers, and that is just say, so you have these much numbers, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, 10. Now see, if you want that these things to be added up, right? The similar we did in the while loop. Now you want these things to be again added up. What it'll do is, we will again initialize a sum equals 0, and now we'll be using for loops. Did I give the heading of for? No. So now you'll be assigning you call it as kind of a structure. That is, now I'll be writing for keyword, and then I'll be writing. And now let it be your variable anything. Your variable could be anything like kind of you used in the iterations for you use for your counter purpose. That could be any name, right? So let's say for iterations, I'm just writing on for iterations in the numbers. Okay, so for the iterations in the numbers, make the sum equals to sum plus iterations. Alright, that's all. And you are dead with this. Nothing to initialize, nothing to made on increment and all these things, right? You can print your right. So this is an optional statement. I'm just writing it too for you guys so you can see what is happening here, right? So when I write it, what I see, when my sum is 1, my iteration is 1. When my sum is 3, my iterations are 2. When my sum is 6, my iterations are 3. For 10, it's 4. For 15, it's 5. For 21, it's 6. For 28, it's 7. When my sum is 36, my iterations are 7. When my sum is 55, my iterations complete down to 10. So since there are 10 numbers, So when the one element is coming, my sum is 1. When second element comes, my sum becomes 3. When 3 comes, it's 6. For 4 it becomes 10, and so on. So when 10 becomes, it became 55, and then no element is there, so it executed out of the loop and just exited from the loop, and you see the sum is the last number, whatever it is, 55. Clear to you? Number 16 will not include. Number 16 will not be include. 16. Which 16 one? Okay, he is replying to that. If you want to print for numbers 5 to 16, including 16, so you can do it just writing by 17, and you will be seeing the 16 also.
So, but we have given a range from 5 to 16. So at that time we want to print 5 from 5 to 16.
So if you give your last or the stopping number any value, you will be getting the values till the stopping number minus 1.
Okay.
If you write 16, you will be getting till 15. If you write 15, you will get for 14. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
It means the starting index is 0.
Yes. These are the things which we just do with the use of if and else statement, guys. Okay. So there are things more. So when we'll learn the loops, we'll focus on that. So I've given a basic introduction, and when we complete our data types, we'll just move on to the loops and we'll see how it works on, right? And because now introduction has been done, so we'll not go much for the introduction part. So when we'll start the loops, right? So now we'll focus on the kind of strings. So our data types will focus on the kind of strings. So what we discussed, what are string, guys? So anything coming inside the single quotes or anything surrounded by the double quotes or single quotes are the strings. So if you write it as
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Is there any major difference between for loop and while loop? Just the iteration. Till that iteration condition is true, it will execute.
It is not kind of a true statement. It will see the number of elements are there. So it will iterate over that the length of the numbers. So length of the numbers is now 10, right? So it will iterate till 10. So it will iterate till the length. In for loop, it becomes on the number of length. Okay. So it will iterate on the number of length. You can write for iterations in place of number. You can write for the iterations in the length of the numbers. It will keep on iterating for number of 10. Understood? So in the while what happens? It will check for the conditions we write for x is less than equals to 10. In the for loop, what happens? It automatically counts the number of elements and will iterate through that much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So for the string, what we did is that strings are the objects kind of characters, you can say, if it's just surrounded by the single quotes or the double quotes, right? So these are the things. So we'll learn how to just create, modify, format, and all these things of the string. So in a very simple thing, you can just call it as a sequence of characters, right? So that's all. So sequence of characters surrounded by single or double quotes. It depends whatever it is, right? So it will learn how to just create, modify, format, and all these things of the string. So in a very simple thing, you can just call it as a sequence of characters, right? So whatever it is, So what can be the examples, like for the single quote? This can be an example, right? This can be an example. These things can be an example, right? This can be strings, right? Yes, Anudeepa has sent me yesterday something out. I forgot actually. What was the sir, in the line for the print is written inside, it can be printed directly outside. And the line for the print is written inside. In the line 5 it is written this print, so you want to print it outside, so it will print like that, only the last value of the s and that one, right? So if you print it inside, it will print every particular value of the loop itself. Understood? Okay, in the while loop. The line for where it is print. So if you remove the print from here, what will happen? The last value or the initial value will be printed out there first, and that will be just remain the same. That will not affect your this print one, but still that will just look like a messy one if you write it like that. So that is an unexpected. You can say you can write on that these are an indent error, right? So you have to write it kind of things. So if you write it, your sum, and all these will coming inside your see your sum 1, 3, 6, and all these things. So you're printing x will only print the value that is x equals to 11 now. That depends how you write your codes. Alright, so Anudeepa, what was your doubt? Can you ask me again? %s is for % strings. We have dealt with these things. We'll discuss today also. I said you that we'll discuss the doubts in the morning. What exactly was your doubt? Can you say? Where is Anudeepa? Where is she? Anudeepa. Last two questions. Okay, it was clarified. So someone I said that will be discussing doubts in the morning. To whom I said? I remember I said someone, but I don't remember the name. Is there from you anyone whom I said that I'll discuss in the morning? All right, fine. See, someone asked me about which question. Yeah, that not true. Okay, Jaya's. It was Jaya's question there. See, guys, a not of a true is false, right? So a not of a true will be true. So not of true will become false, and not of false will become true. Similarly, not of so not of true will become false, and then not of false will become true, and then not of true will become false. This is how it works here. Okay. So these are the things. Moving on. So a string can be defined within just a single braces or double quotes or single quotes, right? So that can be defined. You can write down any particular things on for this string exactly. So that doesn't means that there is a difference in writing for the single quotes or double quotes. So these will be reacting as the same, right? Okay. So just write a string, and how you assign a value to a string, how you just assign a variable. So exactly, you are not assigning a value to a string. You are assigning a variable, and in that you are assigning a string value, right? So let it be any variable and let it be any value. So if you see the type of the variable, so we'll find the str there. That is a kind of a string, right? So these are the things. So now there are multi-line strings too. So how to print the multi-line strings? How to print that? So let's say I have a string, and so you can see this is a kind of a multi-line string. Alright. So for printing a multi-line string, what you do is you just give on the 3 quotes in the starting and 3 quotes in the ending. That can be a double quotes too. Okay, so triple quotes you write there. Okay, and a basic strings. So basic strings are the very similar. That can write as that, right? So write like this, you will see that it's multi-line and then slash n this string. So this slash n specifies that it's a next line. Alright, so keep in mind the slash n says that it is the next line. Similarly, we have a lot of things, we'll discuss one by one. Okay. Alright. So see guys, now in the same manner, if we write for the multiple strings, now we have our string as a kind of a array, right? So we'll discuss what are arrays and all these things. So see, when we now want to print the index or the slicing of these strings, when we want to do those things, right? So for like other mini programming languages are there, right? So string are in the Python, string are kind of a bytes representing some Unicode characters, right? And every particular character is having some particular ASCII codes. So if you just let me show you that if you want to see any ASCII code for any particular character, what you will be doing is that just print the ORD of that particular character. That depends on what you want. So that will take. All right. So how you can take it on all the characters, everything there. So see, you can just make it as the capital letters are the letters from A to Z. So capital letters, 1 second. So capital letters, you can define it kind of A to Z. Let's see what comes. Invalid sentence, very good. Do one thing. Again, I'm using the same method. Just splitting these up. So what I have done is I've taken a capital keyword, capital variable, and I've just taken a list of number strings, value, characters, and just I have splitted them up, right? So if I see my capital would be a list of numbers from A to Z, a list of particular characters from A to Z, right? So what I can do is just take a lower and just take all these things, copy, all right. I'll let you know what I'm doing. Just first let me do. List object has no attribute split. Alright. Is this a list? Okay, fine. So lower are a list now. And so see guys, what are these things? What I have done here? Nothing but I'll explain you what are these things. When we'll understand the list, I'll just make you understand. Now just think of that you are having your alphabets. Sorry, you are having your capital as the numbers where you have just think it out. Now you are having capital where you have these things A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, Z, and these things as A, B, C, and all these things. Okay, so you have these things now in your list. So let me first do like that. uh, my capital is this, and if I see my lower, so basically my lower cases are these things, right? So see, what I mean to say is every particular character is having its own ASCII code, right? So to print the ASCII code, what I'll do, I'll use the for loop here. So I'll for ASCII for the codes in. Now see, similarly the same thing will write. Now I want to see in the capital. So for the ask codes in capital, now depends what you want to print. So I want to print ASCII value of x is %s, right? Now that can be the ASCII value of x in place of x, what I'll write in quotes. For the ASCII value of %s. For the ASCII value of %s is what? So %s will be my order. So the order of the codes one by one will be printed on. So if you write like that, we'll see. You can see now that the ASCII code one by one has been printed out. That the ASCII code or ASCII value of A is 65, for the B is 66, C 67, D 68, E 69, and so on. It went off till the ASCII value of Z is 90. So understood? Every particular thing is there. Now let's print same thing for the lower cases. So in the lower case, it would be that the ASCII code of A is 97. So you can see it ended in the Z, and then you have starting from the 97 to B 98 and all these things. So you can compare that these small letters are not equals to capital letters, and when you compare anything that is A is not equals to B, So this comparison is done on the basis of your ASCII codes. Okay, so you can see your value here is 98, and your value here is 90. Where it went? Okay, 97 and 98. So these are not equal, right? So ASCII codes are itself. Why? So why didn't alphabets get printed? Alphabets are printing C, A, B, C, D, and all these things. So we didn't print the alphabets. We just print the ASCII value of those things and we printed out the alphabets that are code C. Alphabets are printing out that A, B, C. If you want to just print on the alphabets, so that can also be printed out. That like just you want to print the alphabets. They just want to print the alphabets. So these are your alphabets: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, all of these. You can see now everything for the capital and lower at once. We have taken all these things. Similarly, you can do it the same also. Order expected length of one bus list found. Okay, fine. Let it be. Okay, understood. So you can just find on the, you can print on the number of characters if you want, and you can just pass on the ASCII values. So these ASCII values are important to compare out these strings and all these things. Okay. So now we'll come to the topic of indexing. Don't focus on these parts now. Don't just focus on these whatever I've done. Lower and okay, we'll discuss lower today. Don't go for these append what has been appended. We'll discuss all these things in the coming classes, right? So indexing. Indexing is a kind which just refers to the exactly positional value or positions of the your characters, right? So they have the positions and all these things to work on. Suppose I write a statement. Suppose I write the AI is the upcoming era, right? So what is the position of A, what is the position of I, and all these have some very particular positions with them. So what exactly are their positional values? If I want to access these particular things, what are their positions? So for that, if you want to get it like, so I'll be describing it like the position. First of all, first count the length. So you'll see that 23 characters are there, right? 23 characters are there. Now see, I want now that what is the positional value of A. So see, the positional value in the Python, anything you just go on for the indexing, when you just go with the indexing ones. So in the indexing starts from the 0. Alright. So you will be starting your indexing from the 0 and it will go till the number we are having. That's no problem. So by seeing 23, I can say that it will go from 0 to 22. Right, kind of a range, right? So it will go from 0 to 22. That is, this A will be having a positional value of 0. I will be 1, and this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on, right? So if you print on the index values, alright, understand? So if you print the index values, so you can say st of 1 will be I. So what will be the 0? A. Understood? So 0 is A and the 1 is this is. Okay, so now just let me print. These are the things, right? So if I want to see all the positional values, what I'll write it as? Again, I'll be using for. So what I say for positions, let it be P. So for positions in the ST. Print must be integers. All right. Alright, you can write on that for the P, that is your numbers, indexing in the ST, print the ST of P. Yeah, that would be wrong. So you want incrementing values, put it there. So for the P, give me 1 minute. Print the ST for the number of times I need to write. Okay, so I want to print. Okay. Something can be done as relatively. Okay, I'll do it later. I'm just confused with these things. Okay. Just see what you can do is, I mean to just say you that you can print out the values of st of 0 or st of 1 and so on. So you'll be getting your values of kind of these things. So st of 5 is a blank space. If I see on that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 is a blank space, right? So these are the things which should be focused on, kind of, right? So yeah, you have these particular things to just work on. So every particular character is having some of the index values. So if I write now that is st of, so I mean that I want the characters from 5 to 8, that is from 5 to 7, understand? It's from 5 to 7 exactly. This colon stands for the line. It says from 5 to 7 you are having a space first and then a T and H. Let's see whether it is correct or not. So if I write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5, 6 and this is 7. Correct. These are the things. Right. So these are the range you can write it on. Similarly, we can just do negative indexing. Negative indexing stands for just counting everything from the back. It is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in the right side, from the front side, we started from the 0, and from the left hand side or the back side, we'll start from the -1. Understood? So similarly, I can write from -5 to -1. So it says that's an error. That is, you'll be getting numbers from -5 to -2. So what are these things? -1 is excluded. So -2 is A, -3, -4, and -5 is the gap. So yeah, got it there. That is error with a gap over there. Understood? So these are the things we use in the indexing. Indexing is something which you need to practice.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you explain that cell number 64? 64.
ST of 5. ST of 5, if you count on 0, 1, 2 is a blank space, 3, 4, 5 is a blank space. So a blank space has been printed there. Understood? So there you just write, you have to written a blank space over there, so such you are getting that. It depends whatever you take it on, right? Okay, moving on. So everyone understood what are these indexing? Anyone having any problem?
Sir, it's cell number 65 and 66.
65 and 66 are the range. I am printing the numbers from 5 to 7 and here from -5 to -2. Let me write. Alright.
In line 66, if you are writing -1 to -5, it is not showing any output.
Yes, -1. What happens, sir? There we write the smaller value and then the greater value. So that goes with the smaller to greater. And if we write -1 to -5, that will be kind of greater to smaller. So that's why we write first the smaller and then the greater.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you. So,
Okay, sir.
all right. Okay, so you can in the negative indexing you should have writing the greater value in the end, and then for every type of indexing you will be writing on. Okay, so these are the just kind of things which will be working just on. Okay, in the NumPy, no, you guys are not reading the NumPy. Okay. So this happens in also the cases everywhere indexing has been used, and that is used in a very good manner. Yesterday we did it right. We just splitted the things to check the email domain with the use of indexing. Remember that there I just write I wrote there kind of email of -1 that stands that I'm checking for that particular thing. But that was a list. That was not a string over there. So that, but the indexing technique is same, or you can say the concept is same. Alright, moving on. So there are a lot of methods in the string to focus on, right? There are a lot of things to just focus on the kind of strings. So let's start one by one. So first of all, we'll see the basic thing for just addition of a string, or not addition, just a concatenation or joining of a string. So joining of a string is so in the concatenation, we can see we just join up the strings, right? So let's say I'm having a word natural, right? Now I want something to be added up with the natural. So in place of writing here, remember the assignment operators. So I'm writing like this, right? Just print the word. You can see it's natural calamities there, right? So this is particularly concatenation where you just add on one string to the another string with the use of plus operator, addition operator, right? This is your string concatenation. Similarly, you have string replication. So replication is done using the multiplication operator, right? So in the replication, just take a word that would be species. Just take down it as kind of, okay? So we have species. My battery is not charged there. 1 second. Alright. So the word is species. Now see. I want it to be printed for the 3 times with a gap with them. So if I add up species with this, what will happen? A species dash species will be printed out. Similarly, if I want this to be printed for the 5 times, so I'll be just doing a multiplication with an integer. All that. You can multiply with an integer, but you cannot add on. Right? You cannot add on these things. Like you can just not add species plus 5 as kind of, because these two are of different data types. This is a kind of a string, this is a kind of integer, so that's have to be an str category if you want to add it. Okay, so let's do the application. So if you print your word, you'll see that the species has been printed for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Right? So this is kind of a replication when you work with your integer and the strings together, and that was in concatenation. Similarly, there is something different called as another thing, and let it be. Now these are some of the inbuilt functions. Strip method. Alright. Now this strip plays a very important role, as strip defines that these strip method are used to just remove white space from the codes. So this strip particularly removes the white space from the beginning and ending of a code. Alright. So let it be the word. Now let it be any kind of word you have. Let it be Amazon. You can see I've given some of the spaces there, right? Let's define this as a kind of A. So this A is equals to a gap out there, and then you have Amazon. Understood? So see what happens when I print down the value of A, and when I print the value of A dot. So you can see the value of A has been printed as a kind of in the middle, not exactly the middle. This is how you have written your A. So with the white spaces, this is the value of A. So if I write A dot strip, that removes the white spaces from the beginning and from the ending, and you can see it as a kind of Amazon with no any spaces there. Okay, just only the word. Understood? And if you write only the single A, you will be getting out the white spaces as well as you have written. So for removing those white spaces, we are using the strip. Okay. Similarly, we have something different. What I have used now, just so those were the codes of the lower one, right? So these specify, or these particularly returns you lowercase. Understood? So if you have any particular word and you want it to be returning in the lowercase, this will return it in the lowercase. How? See, let's say another word. So today I'm in a mood of taking these companies. So let's take Flipkart. The spelling is correct, right? Alright. So this is Flipkart. And I want now, I'll printing it, the value of B and the value of B dot lower. So there is one particular. So if I run this, first B will be printed, that is exactly the same value, and then the lower value. So you can see first the Flipkart has been printed out, and then we are having Flipkart. Okay, so this is in the lowercase exactly, and this is similarly for the lowercase we have one more value. We have it as what we say case fold. Let's take another value. Yeah, I can see there are some girls too. So you just give me some of the names of shopping e-commerce shopping cart, right? You might be knowing a lot of them. Yes. So just give some examples. I know Amazon, Flipkart. Give some more examples. Yeah, I got one. Myntra. Like my mom shops from there, so yeah, I know Myntra. All right. So we have Myntra. Let's write it that. So C comma C dot case fold. So you can see the Myntra and kind of things like that. Okay. So there are some differences. It's not like same. So if you want to see the help, you want to see the help of case fold. If you want to see the help of case fold, so okay, no, but right, no problems. So there are the string methods. You can just run on and see any particular things. So what case fold does, it runs a version of a string suitable for caseless comparison. Alright, remember guys, these are the things used for caseless comparison. And what the lower will do, so there is a kind of lower, yes. So where it is, it's return a copy of a string converted to a lowercase. So make it very, just let me copy and write it. Otherwise you will just forward it. So taking the definition, standard definition, you can take it from here to understand it better. Let it be, well, it is case fold. So it should be starting from the C, yes. So this is case fold, right? Similarly, moving ahead. So let's see any outcome has came. Okay. So Chaitra, just give me one name of a e-commerce shopping platform. There you also Anjali, Anudeepa. You might be knowing.
Nika.
What?
Nika. NY.
One second. D is equals to NOI.
Nika. NY.
Yes. I didn't heard the name. That's why NOI and then
NY, sir.
NY. Okay, you're
Yeah.
saying Nika, right?
Nika.
I heard this one. Alright. Nika. Fine. So now I'll be doing the capitalized one. So let's take the standard definitions from here, and that is good. So basically capitalize will return your capitalization codes, right, as the name suggests there. So we'll be returning a capitalized version of the string. So more specifically makes the first character have uppercase and the rest as the lowercase. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting these things, right? We'll be getting from the capitalized one. So see shade, it's Nika. Let's see.
K double A, sir. K double A.
Okay. K double A, right. So then let's print D and D dot capitalize. Alright. So you can see, yeah. So you can see, let's take it for N, otherwise you can't see a difference. So you can see first word is NYKAA and the second word has made the first letter as the capitalized. And the next is rest are the same address. Okay, so this can be used in case when you take an input from a user and you want to show the username and the first letter as a capital. This can be done there, right? So you can do with things of the capitalize. Yes, one more name, Sushmita, or anyone. If a boy knows, so you can also say, don't have much knowledge on these things. Yes, any else? I know this Flipkart, I know this Myntra, Amazon. Anything more apart from these four?
So Snapdeal.
Very good, Snapdeal. Yes, I know this name also. Snapdeal. Alright. So let's go with some different thing. Now we'll go with the replace. Let's find out the standard definition of a replace. So exactly replace will be replacing your index values, whatever you will be writing on. Okay, that will replace that particular thing. So it's return a copy with all the occurrence of the substrings. So this is a very good, not good, that is very lengthy definition. So but standard one, so you should keep in mind. So basically it replaces a string with another string if you focus on that part. So it returns a copy of all the occurrence of the substring, old replaced by a new. Okay, you can just think of that. Okay. Otherwise you can say it particularly returns or replace. Just try to understand things, not to go with the definitions. It replaces a string with the another string. Someone just tried it.
If multiple words of first initial letter to be capitalized, you have to keep it in for loop for space, finding word for space.
Sorry, sir?
If it is multiple letters, for example, Nika, I am repeating 2 times. Each first letter to be Nika, capital, and another second word Nika also should be paused.
Capital, right? Yeah.
Yes.
For that we have another function that is called as title.
What is it?
Title. For that you are saying like you are having, let's say, I'm having my name there and it is kind of, let it be. Okay, and I want these first two will be capital, right? So there I'll be using the title one. I will discussing those things. So that is title. So that will be just making the first two capital. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. So that I'll be discussing those things. Yeah. So we were in the replace one. See, in the replace one, someone says Snapdeal, right? Okay. So let's take E. So this is kind of a snap, right? And you want the printing to be now E, and then I'm printing E dot replace. So my E replace will be the replacing element first. What I'm writing, I want to replace the S, and then I want this to be replaced by the capital S. All right, this is all. So if I write it like this, what is the value? So you can see the Snapdeal and then the Snapdeal. Spelling is correct, but I think correct. Okay. Deal spelling is deal and the snap is snap. So probably it would be correct. So this is kind of thing. When you replace, you write the first what you want to replace and then write the by which you want to replace. This is things, right? Clear to you? Let's see any. Yeah. Now Anudipata, just give one more name.
Flipkart.
Flipkart I have done. Oh no, there are a lot of things. Club Factory, Alibaba, Robo, Agio. Ah, yeah, I have heard this Club Factory name.
All are Chinese, sir.
So I know I will not be using Chinese one. Leave those.
Ajio is best.
Agio is not Chinese.
No, sir. It is of Jio.
Okay, it's of Geo. Fine then. Let us take its Agio. Okay, first let's write. Next thing we are just going to see is split one. Title. Right. So we are just going to see the. Let's take a no. Don't take split one. That will cause an error. Okay, Agio. Fine. So we'll see the format method now. So this format will particularly use to insert numbers or anything to the string numbers. Basically use numbers, used to print the numbers in the string. Okay, let's see about Agio when it was founded on. Agio shop online. Alright. Any information regarding that? I don't want to show. What is the even? Okay, leave it. Let's see about Amazon. Amazon was founded in the 1994. That's right. Okay. Let's just come with the format again. So this method is used to insert numbers in string, and many things you can do, right? So let's come with the standard definitions. This is format, so F would be upper. So returns a formatted version of S using substitutions from arguments. The substitutions are defined by the places. So this definition you will not be getting anything understand from that. Alright, so return a formatted version of S using the substitutions from the arguments. Alright, I just deal it with that. That's why I say learning definitions is learning the things is better than learning the definitions. So these ARGS stand for the arguments. Arguments are the parameters, or arguments are the things what you write inside this thing, or the braces, whatever the things you will be writing inside your braces. So let me write from the arguments. These are nothing but the thing you will be writing in your braces, right? So let's take. I'm writing that F is equals to Amazon was founded in the year. Alright, so Amazon was founded in the year. Once again, something is there. Just hold me up. So Amazon was founded in the year of this, and this year is 94. Okay, that's great. Now see, you have F, right? So you have used a braces over there, and you want some of the values now there. You want some of the values there. So what you'll write it as? I'll just write print F dot format, and my format value would be like kind of what I want in the place of this braces. So I want the year value, that is 1994. So Amazon was founded in the year of 1994. This is how you will see that. Understood? So this format method takes unlimited number of arguments you can place on various number. Okay. So similarly, if I want to write it as 5th July 1994, it's founded on 5th July 1994. So it says founded on the 5th July in the year 1994. So every particular braces will have its own value. Understood? So it's not like only the number to string, right? You can just convert anything there. Alright. So this is the kind of a format one. Understood? Any doubts there? Alright. So now not going in the commerce marketing sites, right? E-commerce ones. Moving ahead there. Now let's come to some of the important things, right? How to just check on whether something is lying inside your string, or how to just add a space between a string value, you can say. All right. So let's take like you are having a sentence. Okay. Let it be F. So now I want to check whether the following word is let's say Flipkart is there in the F or not. So is there Flipkart in the F? So it's false, not there, right? So whether, let's see, Amazon is there or not. So it says yes, Amazon is there, right? So these are the things. So you can similarly just check it for in, not, not in. So that will say true because Flipkart is not in there, right? So concatenation we have did the format one, we have did the everything, right? Similarly, we use characters, escape characters, and so on for our values. Right? If you write a word and you use a single backslash, kind of, let's say you are using print name backslash of last name. So that says it's kind of a first name then backslash of last name, right? If you write it as, it says first name, then a quote, and then last name. That particularly specify that when you work like in the when you say what's happening, so you'll write it in as what's happening. All right. So it will, okay, there is somewhere else. It says what's happening. Okay, so that is kind of thing, right? say if you have written like what's, if you want to write a quote, see, it will become like that. So for that we have the option of working with these things, right? Similarly, you have for backslash, if you want, so you'll be writing as a, let's say it's first name. So that will just give a first name oblique the last name and like that, right? So that will just print it after symbol like that. If you want to print a new line, so for new line I have shown you how to just go with these things, right? For a new line, what you write, it's a new and then a slash of L and then a line. So we're getting a new line there. Understood? Similarly, for a carriage return, what is exactly a carriage return? If you see it, so let's say if you write carriage, if you write it as R, so this will just give you the value of return range. So what is now this thing? What this carriage return specifies particularly? Yes. So what you see is your RETURN, that is return, and then the GE. So this particularly gives you basically, if you see the standard definition here. So there is carriage return. Oh, sorry, it might be the C1. Where is the definition there? Alright, so I think there is not given. Fine. So basically your carriage return just give a prefix value of the character which seems to be prefix, you understand, right? Suffix and prefix. If you write GE, then you will be getting a suffix of that, prefix of that. That is your for your name, and then for the prefix. Similarly, if you write it as a kind of, let's say, what you can write for the carriage return? If we take it as for an example, so you can write it as, let's say, new, and just let's say line. So we're seeing a line view. You can see it's kind of there. Oh, why it is not working? Some problems is there. Okay, still fine. So you can see the just the prefix one, that is your only the last word coming out. Okay, so in that case there was a problem to see. So you can see for the only the last word, that is manipulation and so on, whatever you write, you giving that. So if you write as kind of a, let's say I'm having iris, and let's say I'm having a data set. So if I write it as R, so I'll be getting a data set over there. So these are the things you will be writing directly. Can we do web search directly? For what you want to do for the web search, you can just bring anything from here. You can just search on the web for here. You can do anything if you want to just search on from the Google. That we do when we build chatbots for Amazon. Okay, so you want to basically perform some search from here. That's easy not to just think of all these things that are again easy to work. Okay, so for those things you just need to install, let's say that I want to do some of a search performance from the my Python code, right? So I need to just install some things. Let me just write it here. I'll show you now. So these are the libraries. Huh? No matching for the, okay, sorry. Already, all right. Google installed. See, now if you want to just perform a search from here, what you'll do is, this is a good one. This might give you some just good things. So just write a codes here. What are these? Accept and try. Will study in the Python. Don't worry. Let's take it from the user. Enter anything you want to search, right? Let's take an input from the user there, and then we'll just write on then my whatever the user is writing. Just take it for that. Okay. And then you define some things. Let's say whatever the user had searched, and your domain should be searching with the things you now define. You want co.in or co.com or anything, right? So I'll just say you in short what are these things. Let it be 10. Let's say I want to search about Microsoft. So I can see probably a list of things from the Google. It will search and give me the best links for the Microsoft. So from any of these things, if I just click on, let's say just a Microsoft, so I'll be straight away taken to the Microsoft page. Suppose you want to search for Thiegs Private Limited, like for Thiegs Private let's see what comes. So there are a list of things you can getting on, right? So this is the first website of Theeks. You'll be just straight away to the website. Similarly, this is like the LinkedIn page. You'll just taken to the LinkedIn page over there. So, okay, these are the things you can just search on anything. Okay, so there are a lot of things you can do with these things, right? You want to see? Let's see about the Sophia. That's a kind. So here these things specifies some roles, right? For the like for the user is like what exactly the user wants to search on, right? And then we write number. So number is the number of search results we want. If we want some 100 results, so we can run on, let's say I want to search about Alexa. So we'll be getting some 100 search results from there. Okay, so that is number defines how much search results you want there. Okay, so that is defined for that. Stopping will be the last result to retrieve. That is, if you use none to keep for searching forever. So if you for searching forever, you will be keeping it as a kind of none. So if you write it as head of this, so it will be just keeping on searching forever. It will not stop. So this is till it has reached till the limit, and it will keep on searching and will giving you the values. So you can see now probably the 100 values over there to the okay. Similarly, the pause is just a lapse basically between the HTTPS requests when you work with the networking. So you'll get to that. Okay. So lapse too short may cause Google to block your IP. Okay. So don't give a very short one. So lapses. So it's better and safer place to just work on with these Google things, right? So it depends whatever you search for. Okay, you can search for many things. You can write down your own modules, and you can just work with things. That would be first 5 values. All right. You can see it keeps on searching. Right, I haven't stopped it, so you can see it keep on searching and searching there. See, it will search and will give me the updates and will keep on updating me there. This is how it comes. So it will not stop, it will keep on running and running and running over there, but you keep on searching there. Okay, so that is not good, so just apply something there. Let's say 10. So I want just only the 10 results. Okay, similarly. So these are the things which should be focused on. Okay. Yeah, Madhu is saying thank you, welcome. So this is particularly a domain you are just the number of results you want, stopping for the if you want to stop or not for limited times. Pause is the number of iterations you are doing between the servers, so don't give it very small there. And take an input from the user. Okay, these are the things. We'll discuss what are try, what are except. We'll be discussing for the Python students. You will have the class. So we'll have the morning classes for you AIML and data science who are coming here. You will have morning classes till the only the Saturday, this Saturday. Okay, then you'll have your regular classes from the Monday as it usual. Sunday will be the holiday. Okay, Sunday you will be having no classes. So this is a kind of thing you just go on for this. Okay, so let me stop.